wanted to share with you a little bit about this funky low back muscle today because it did 2 workshops this weekend and it came up in both of them, and that is the elusive psoas muscle. Now, this is a very challenging muscle to get to. It's also kind of a hard muscle to understand sometimes because you can't really feel it all the time. So this is a deep hip flexor. It's the deepest hip flexor. It attaches to your thigh bone on the inner thigh and then all the way up to the front of your lumbar spine. So that's the spine in the low back. It attaches to the front. So it's not like you can forward bend to stretch it. You have to back bend to stretch it. You have to back bend in the hips, which can be challenging because those outermost hip flexors, your quads, often are tight too, and you have to loosen the quads before you can get to this psoas. So I'm going to show you a way that you can get to it in a very relaxing way, and it is a back bend, and that's because of the primary reason that psoas muscles tend to be tight is that they do flex the hips, so chest towards thighs and thighs towards chest. That's their action. So sitting, it's always tight when you're sitting, and a lot of us do a lot of sitting. So here's a nice relaxing way to take care of that. You're going to lie down and put a block right underneath your sacrum. Extend your legs out long. If that doesn't feel good for your low back to extend your legs, either your block's not quite in the right place or your psoas is pulling on that lower lumbar spine and pulling you into a deeper back bend than your back wants to do. So you want to make sure that where your block is feels good and extend the legs just as far as the muscles will allow. It's also not uncommon that one side's tight and the other side's a little bit looser. My right side's usually my tighter side. So once you're here, the most relaxing way to let it go is just let go. Hang out here as long as it feels really good for you. If you want a slightly more direct, slightly less relaxing way, you can take your fingertips, find your hip point, so that's the top front of your pelvis and your belly button. And then halfway in between there, just bring your fingers together and just gently wiggle downward. As you wiggle downward, you might find a little intensity from inflammation in your guts. But underneath all of that, way down by the front of your spine, you'll also find your psoas. So you can actually manually massage it yourself. If you're having constipation or you've got cramping or anything like that, this is not a good idea. It will feel terrible. What you're not looking for is pain of any kind. So just a nice little wiggle. Hey there. And then remember, you want to do it on both sides. You can spend a long time here. I'd spend like 10 minutes here. And my favorite thing to do to get to my psoas in this position these days is to put a little barbell, like a hand weight, right on my belly and just let it sink in so that I don't even have to do the effort of wiggling. I can just relax. When you come out of this pose, though, especially if you spent like 10 minutes here, slowly bend your legs. Slowly lift the hips and release your back down. And then take a few breaths at least here. Because sometimes that's a little bit intense, especially if you sat all day and then you're suddenly saying, hello, let's back bend. So that's what came up in both my workshops this weekend. I hope that it was helpful for you to learn a little bit more about your psoas and what it is, where it is, and maybe get some tricks to help it let go. I'll see you next time. Take care. Bye-bye.